birthday, Cartoon Network. All right, come celebrate all weekend long.
Happy 30th anniversary, Cartoon Network. Yeah, thought I'd start off my season premiere of Saturday noon videos, October through April, by announcing that. You know, today is the 30th anniversary of when Cartoon Network was originally launched on October 1st, 1992. You know, it's had a lot of ups and downs throughout the years. You know, Hueby Dooby. It was, you know, first it was just like a hub for syndicating a lot of old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. You know, stuff like Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Wacky Races, Scaredy Squirrel, Everdaw, Jabberjaw, and but in the middle of the 1990s, they started making their own original programming, and they even had their own. They even had like a late night programming block for adult content named Adult Swim. You know, I was never particularly fond of Dexter's Laboratory and Johnny Bravo's shows. Their sense of humor and lead characters didn't really appeal to me. But, you know, I can still respect Cartoon Network. We're trying to come up with, you know, it was definitely trying to come up with a lot of big hits in the 1990s. And, well, you know, I actually, yeah, I like the Powerpuff Girls from I actually enjoyed the Powerpuff Girls from 1998 a lot more than Johnny Bravo from 1997 and Dexter's Laboratory from 1996. You know, the same person who created the Powerpuff Girls, you know, he also created Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which is not called Foster's Home for Crazy People, which does not need to be named Foster's Home for Crazy People. And Creigz McCracken also made Wander Over Yonder for Disney Channel, and Kid Cosmic for Netflix. Yeah. And you know, thing is, you know, Creigz McCracken was a really very talented cartoonist, very talented cartoon creator, and his wife Lauren Faust did Friendship's Magic. His wife Lauren Faust developed My Little Pony Friendship's Magic for the Hub Network, which used to be Discovery Kids, and now it's Discovery Family. Oh my God, it's Discovery. Yeah, it was Warner Bros. Discovery merger. It turned out to be very bad, much worse idea than the people in charge of the merger originally thought, because they're clearly trying to phase out HBOmax for Discovery Plus, and they're deleting a lot of cartoons in the crossfire. It's like they know Discovery Plus will be second fiddle to HBOmax, and that's why they're minimizing HBOmax, which is just wrong. You know, they're deleting a lot of cartoons, and they're deleting a lot of Cartoon Network cartoons, some of which are originally HBOmax, and even deleting some original, and some of them are even original HBOmax. You know, streaming services should never have to delete their own original content unless they're afraid of unless they're doing it because of like the excessive backlash that little Ellen and Cutie so deserve to have. You know, my mom told me that, like, you know, a tax write-off can be something you don't have faith in, don't believe will make money, and will cost you more money than it actually gets. But it's still not right you still shouldn't write off like other cartoons, which you can't just write off any you shouldn't be allowed to write off any cartoon you want just because it has unproven financial returns. You know, if you already released it if it's already been out for 4 years, then you can't really claim it as a tax write-off. And what Warner Bros. Discovery is doing by having lots of by making a lot of tax write-offs for stuff they wouldn't even premiere on their streaming service, stuff made for the streaming service that they don't want to premiere, like Batgirl and Scoop Holiday Haunt, or even writing off other shows that were already there, which have now been removed, like Infinity Trainer, Mao Mao, Heroes of Pure Heart, and Final Spaces. Things like removing things like Infinity Train, Mao Mao, Heroes of Pure Heart, and Final Space is just sickening, infuriating. You know, if they keep mistreating animators like this, we're not going to have any animation businesses left.
I can't believe Oki's gone!
He was a great old tree, and he meant a lot not only to you and Bailey, but so many other kids and families.
You know, we won't have any animation businesses left if David Zaslav and other top executives at Warner Brothers Discovery have absolute power over the fate of cartoons that none of them will believe will be profitable anymore. Which is why we really, right now, absolutely need the limitations and regulations on what can be a tax write-off, so that creators like Olin Rogers and Geneva Hodgson can't get screwed over like this again. Because, you know, Geneva Hodgson worked on the drop pilot for Trick Moon and the canceled Cartoon Network HBOmax movie Driftwood. If this isn't the biggest tax fraud conspiracy of the entertainment industry in the 21st century, well, then I don't know what else to call it. But it's definitely some form of tax evasion or tax cheating, I think. You know, Swell Entertainment, you see Swell Entertainment, you see, gang, animation is not just for kids. You know, there are plenty of adults who can like animation too, and, you know, Swell Entertainment, Basement Life Podcast, and Saber Spark, and Knowledge Husk have all fed me different bits of information, you know, their own takes on, you know, the different sides of the story here, different parts of information they knew, and I studied on those before I came out here to film this video. You know, I'm very worried for Cartoon Network. You know, I mean, it's definitely still going to. I mean, Creigz of the Creek and Jessica's Big Little World can certainly keep it alive for another few years, but after that, I don't know what's going to happen to it with this merger of Warner Brothers Discovery. But at least efforts for family writers and animators can give themselves a big pat on the back for how prophetic their fifth and final season was about this whole tax fraud merger conspiracy with Warner Brothers Discovery. I'd be very sad if the Cartoon Network, started to disappear for good, and Learning with Pibby never even became a full series. I mean, one of the main stars of that short is one of the two cartoon characters with Pibby, Malira, the anthropomorphic cat villain. She's voiced by Alex Newell of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. And in Learning with Pibby, Malira is one of those. She's one of the protagonists who has to fight Zoe's extraordinary glitch virus. Am I right? And yeah, I'll definitely enjoy Creigz of the Creek and Jessica's Big Little World while they last. I love for Creigz of the Creek to have a sixth season so that I can write the Spectre Report, because I definitely want Alexis to have an important storyline with Kelsey, or which is the Creek to have an important before Eileen the Sewer Queen, before the show reaches its natural conclusion, the end of its original run. And yeah, animation is not just, I mean, sure, maybe David Zaslav grew up thinking animation was for kids because maybe he only watched animated shows when he was a kid, but there's no excuse to think that adults cannot also watch animation when Fox has plenty of successful adult cartoons that have been running for longer than a decade. The Simpsons, King of the Hill, Futurama, maybe, Family Guy, American Dad, and Bob's Burgers. And in 9 more years, Duncanville and The Great North will also make it that far if they don't cancel or reach a final season before they turn 10 years old. So, you know, do your part to save Cartoon Network and press CN to pay respects. And I'm just as upset as Olin Rogers is about being dealt the raw deal. The fact that Infinity Train got, the fact that, and Owen Dennis, you know, the fact that Infinity Train, Infinity Train and Final Space were written off forever. But all is not lost. I mean, yeah, there are other people on YouTube who have already recorded and preserved clips of Close Enough, Infinity Train and Final Space, which I gave them a big thank you for doing so in the description below this video, because that's where I got these clips from. But all is not lost here, because Warner Brothers Discovery got a lawsuit against its shareholders for lying about the subscriptions that started the merger. And they say change only starts from the bottom up and not the top down, but in this case I think change can start from the top down, because Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers animators were also very furious with Warner Brothers Discovery over mistreating their cartoons post-merger. Stephen Colbert even gave me a clip of Bugs Bunny starting a fight with Warner Brothers Discovery for deleting cartoons off of HBOmax.
Oh yeah, you looking sharp, Looney Tunes.
Algie, this means war.
Whatever, Bugs.
I mean, come on, that is insane. This can't be happening. Why would HBOmax? Why, Warner Brothers? Bugs Bunny is one of the most valuable animated characters to come out of Warner Brothers Media, and animation was at least half or a quarter of the lifeblood of HBOmax streamers. I mean, even if you do think animation is for kids, why not get kids? Why not have any incentive for kids to sign up and view things on HBOmax Kids? It's like half empty right now with all the animated, or always a quarter empty with all the animated stuff that has been deleted from that this year. But yeah, the shareholders suing Discovery, or the shareholders Warner, I don't really remember which side they're from, but suing Warner Brothers for lying about how many subscribers they had just to get this merger started. This may be the first lawsuit against Warner Brothers Discovery for other tax fraud, but it definitely won't be the last. The next lawsuit is sure to come from Cartoon Network, because animation, a lot of things, a lot of reasons why Cartoon Network needs to sue Warner Brothers Discovery. For starters, Warner Brothers Discovery is cheaping out on not paying animators any residuals, or their cartoon creators or voice actors the residuals they deserve. And it doesn't make sense that Warner Brothers Discovery would sabotage itself by deleting all these things from HBO Max just to elevate Discovery Plus and turn HBO Max into HBO Mini. I mean, come on! Animation got the entertainment business through the pandemic. Ian Jones-Quartey is super upset about OK K.O, Let's Be Heroes, and another video game cartoon that was a big inspiration for OK K.O, Let's Be Heroes, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, being taken down from HBO Max. And animators like Ryan Pequin and Nora Meek are definitely very upset about many of their animated projects from Cartoon Network being taken down for tax write-offs. If a painstaking, expensive job with a lot of hard work like animation offers no reward, eventually that job is not going to exist anymore. Would you rather make a lot of money and put some aside for the workers from the workers in the middle or the bottom who deserve it? Or would you rather make no money at all as you fail to run your manage your business on your own? This is why Mr. Anner was furious that Mr. Krabs was firing SpongeBob and SpongeBob got fired. It should be. Animation. Even before. mean, even before that happened, animation's just had a very rough time this year for how much it's been mistreated. You know, first there's like some of the stars of live action Disney remakes, just calling animated films stories for kids, stories for children, and Megan Thee Stallion stepping on Stephanie Beatrice's moment by interrupting the cast of Encanto, saying we don't talk about Bruno. That was a dumb surprise. And then of course, many people don't talk enough about Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder in this. You know, it was a live action reboot of the Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy passes his berries down to his younger cousin, but the show doesn't even, but Butch Hartman is too darn cheap to hire more than one animator, which is why Cosmo and Wanda, as well as their voice actors, can't have as big of a role in each Fairly Odder episode as they could in your average The Fairly Odd Parents episode.
Animation is so hard! People who do this for a living deserve more credit and respect!
And this is why we need to save animation, and why Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, their whole board of animators and animation creators together with their strength in numbers can strike Warner Bros. Discovery down with the entertainment lawsuit of the century and bust them with a lot of things like breach of contract, which shouldn't have been nullified by dissolving the Warner Media's merger with AT&T and switching over to the merger with Warner Bros. Discovery, and especially, and breach of fiduciary dealing and breach of good faith and fair dealing, which are also many of the same charges for which the investors sued the producers of Legends of Oz, animation's biggest scam. You and I have definitely heard about that from Animat, but this situation is kind of different because it wasn't an elaborate scam that had been built up for more than 10 years. This was like a very stupid snap decision for a business that drove it off a cliff. So I'm grateful for the loss that we have going now, and especially thankful for Valis Skiboom 94, who's now removed the 94 from his channel name, reporting this to me and you. But I'm definitely going to hold my breath for more lawsuits in the future, because Warner Bros. Discovery can't evade them much longer when they thought it could save $3 billion in the short term, but by deleting a lot of original and non-original streaming content and not having to avoid paying the people who work on the residuals. But now it's losing them $20 billion in the long run, and that's why Cartoon Network, all of Cartoon Network and Adult Swim's animators, as well as their characters and the voice actors for those characters, need to work super hard to get the justice and residual payments they deserve to save animation and keep the conversation going for the Green New Deal for animation, right? To make sure animated scripts get paid as much as live action scripts. I mean, why would you mistreat a medium that people can make when they're still in lockdown or they're sick? I mean, that's how all the animation production and money on Toy Story 2 wasn't completely lost. There's a mother who's working on the animation from home, and she backed up all of the animation files on her computer, taking care of her son.
So, how long is this going to take?
You can't rush art.
So, I definitely would like to go to the New York Comic Con with Mom to see what Genndy Tartakovsky has to say about the current near future for Cartoon Network. And I don't think Mom has that kind of money, but I got a lot of money in Mujar, I guess, because I'd like to go there just to see Genndy Tartakovsky meet some other voice actors who could also be at the New York Comic Con.
Animation is really special. There's something you can get from watching an animated character that you can't get from a real character. With animation, we're trying to come up with interesting new expressions, new cartoon language for emotions that maybe haven't been represented on screen. And I think that's something that only animation can do.
Cartoon Network's animators and voice actors need to fight, and Warner as animators too, they need to fight back very hard against Warner Bros. Discovery for screwing them over and treating animation like it's not important or it's just a tax break. Because animation is worth far more than that. You know, on the Cartoon Network side of things, Ian Jones-Quartey's OK K.O. characters need to be heroes who will make sure Warner Bros. Discovery suffers the consequences it deserves, and Craig Williams can use his map of the creek to find out where all that lost media is being hidden and buried. On the Adult Swim side of things, Final Space. On the Adult Swim side of things, you know, Final Space, you know, if he's going out through all the far reaches of the galaxy, Gary Goodspeed needs to also find those missing tax forms that are proof that, you know, it was tax fraud to write off Final Space and Infinity Train and Mao Mao, Heroes of Pure Heart, and many more Cartoon Network Studios things that got deleted from HBOmax. And Rick and Morty, you know, Rick Sanchez and Morty Smith, they need to help us find a universe where Warner Bros. Discovery wasn't so deep in debt that it needed to delete these things. Or better yet, if merger never happened at all. And AT&T could fix Warner Discovery, because the Warner Bros. Discovery doesn't deserve to. You know, HBOmax, all the cool stuff we used to stream on HBOmax, as well as the streaming service itself, what's left of that streaming server, it doesn't deserve to be killed off by Discovery Plus, ever. You just need to stop stigmatizing people who work in the animation business for a living, whether they're one of the animators, writers, or especially the voice actors, you know? I mean, what happens when there's a voice actor who also does live act? What happens when there's a voice actor who's also known for live acting, whose animated work doesn't get enough not only doesn't get enough appreciation, but is treated like it's worthless, like the aforementioned Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto.
Congratulations on Encanto. How does it feel to be at the Oscars tonight?
It's wonderful. It's amazing. There should be more people like us inhabiting this space. People of color, queer people, standing here and representing all of us, because we all enjoy the movies.
Now, you are performing tonight, is that correct?
That's correct.
You are performing at the Oscars. You're performing,
Don't talk about Bruno.
Don't talk about Bruno. I was trying to get, let's not talk about Bruno. How excited are you to perform on the Oscar stage in front of your colleagues? This is such an iconic moment.
I think it's going to be really fun. That's all I can say. It's fun.
But yeah, support Cartoon Network in any way you can, and if you live nearby Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers animators and know a good lawyer, or if you are a lawyer yourself, well, give them the money they deserve so they can afford not just any good lawyer, but the right lawyer who can help them sue the pants off of Warner Brothers Discovery to get the residuals they deserve and the rights back to deleted content, and the copyright rights back to deleted content. Because, I mean, who really cares about copyright claiming a person who borrowed or stole their content when they didn't even want him to put it up for public consumption payment in the first place. It's not right what Warner Bros. Discovery did to HBOmax to minimize animation and minimize, ironically, HBOmax, just because they knew Discovery Plus didn't stand a chance of competition with HBOmax. Just thinking that, trying to elevate. It's nasty that they're trying to elevate unscripted entertainment so hard. They're pushing scripted entertainment to the wayside, especially animated scripted entertainment. They don't deserve all the power they have to decide that certain shows aren't worth streaming anymore. In my honest opinion, David Zaslav and other producers at Warner Bros. Discovery who made these dumb executive business decisions with him, they deserve a very good timeout on the Infinity Train. They deserve a very good long timeout on the Infinity Train that they tried to hide from us until the numbers on their hands go down, because they realize what they did wrong by screwing over thousands of animators, cartoon creators, and the customers who feed their bottom line, who pay to watch these things on their streaming service that they can no longer watch on HBOmax, which is why HBOmax is losing a lot of subscribers as I speak right now.
Where's the rest of this chicken?
In the trash where it belongs!
Before we go, Olin Rogers has a video message he'd like me to present to you to give Final Space the send-off it deserves.
What's happening? Am I dying? Oh, please say yes. Oh no. Loggins. It's going to get intense fast.
Been working so hard. I'm punching my card. 8 hours for what? Oh, tell me what I got.
I got this feeling. Discovery committed tax fraud. Go, 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 go. To give a profit for something you own is odd. Don't erase what is left of Final Space. Ooh, Jack, get back those tax forms and give us smack. Lose your blues. You're playing so cool, obeying every rule. I dig way down in your heart. You're yearning for somebody to tell you. Animation is not a genre. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm trying to tell you, we should not have to resort to piracy. Gary Goodspeed should not be forgotten by greed. Woo. Time to go. Take this to court, cause you know, lose your blues. I know Cartoon Network is 30 years old right now, but don't treat it like it's old and out of style like the movie Logan's Run. Cartoon Network is not a very irrelevant channel just because it's run its course of 30 years. Because Cartoon Network, if you give it a third chance, still has loads of great cartoons to offer you in the future beyond Craig of the Creek and Jessica's Big Little World. Just open your heart and keep an open mind for Cartoon Network's Big Little World of new content they planned before and after the Warner Bros. Discovery merger, if you can.
It's the Cartoon Network Birthday Bash, Labor Day weekend, on your Cartoon